Okay, for this video, I'm covering the 3E Pure Physics Term 4 2022 paper. I will cover question 6, which tests you on your concept of forces and net force. Well, in part, this question 6, right, is actually also in your worksheet. So as you can see, three questions are already from your worksheets. So from the worksheet, you should have recall this image. I used the exact image, but I changed the numbers. So they are asking you to find a force that acts on the boat by the water. And if you look at the diagram, right, there is no such forces showing directly. But interestingly, there is a force over here that actually acts on water, and it is by the boat. And if you look at this question, right, the question is asking you for a force F, and this particular force F is acting on the boat and by the water. So if you look at the phrasing over here, if you are able to form the phrasing in your mind, what I did is that I didn't add anything extra. Every word that I use over here is from the question, right? On the boat, by the water, right? On the water, due to the boat, by the boat, right? That's the only word I changed. And you can see that if you recall, I tell you that Newton's third law, one of the characteristics is a force acting on A by B. The reaction force will be a force acting on B by A. So actually this F over here and this 2400 Newton are actually the action-reaction force. And because they are action-reaction force, it means that they will share the same magnitude, but F will be acting on the boat in the opposite direction. So once you see this, you can take a look at this diagram. The initial direction of the boat is going to the left. So what you should do is that you should take the left direction as the positive, and that will make your life easier. I'm not saying that if you take the right as positive, you will get wrong answer. It's just harder. You need to have a very strong conviction in your mathematics to do this correctly if you take the right as positive. So when what I teach my class is that to assign positive and negative, you just look at the initial direction of motion. So since this boat initially is moving to the left, let's take left as our positive. And once you do that, you can actually draw the free body diagram, and you can see that your F net will consist of two forces, F over here, which you have found in part A, and you will have this water resistance force, which is also acting on the boat. So when you want to draw a free body diagram, and if the subject of your analysis is the boat, then you should make sure that all the forces that you include on this free body diagram are forces that is acting on the boat. And let me share with you what do I mean by this acting on the boat. So if you look at the question, right, can you see that here this resistive force is acting on the boat? The F over here is also a force acting on the boat. How about this 2400 Newton force? Is this force acting on the boat? Not really, right? If you read the question properly, this 2400 Newton is actually acting on the water. So because of that, when you consider this free body diagram, when you want to figure out what is the resultant force F net, you should only consider the horizontal forces that is acting on the boat, right? So there are only two forces acting on the boat. So this is how you get your F net equals to 900. And I think I have forgotten to mention your part B. So for part B, the law, right? The name of the law is not action-reaction law. The name of the law is actually Newton's third law, and you are supposed to spell it out. Okay, if not, marks will be deducted. So let's come back to the calculation. So in part C, you have already found that your F net is 900. In part D, we are asking you for acceleration. So I hope that by now you should get the hint. After you get the resultant force and someone asks you to find acceleration, you should, quickly think of this formula, F net equals to ma. And the reason I give you the weight is that I want to check whether you can recall this formula, W equals to mg, because that will allow you to change 8,500 Newton into kg. So when you do the right conversion, you should be able to find that the mass is 850 kg, and you'll be able to work out the acceleration. Okay, so I hope you have gained a better understanding for the calculation of forces, definitely coming out in your end of year. If you have questions, do highlight them now, right, and let me know, right? Don't bring it over to end of